they played the Monster Mash.
Hello one and all, and welcome to the extra part for Resident Evil. You see, we just finished playing the entire game as a Let's Play on the channel, and I wanted to talk about some of the things I couldn't quite cover in that series. I hope you all enjoyed the series. I had a lot of fun with it. Well, enough time wasted, let's just get going. So right away, the biggest loose end in our original playthrough is that closet we never got into. It was the only room in the whole mansion we never explored. In fact, it might have been the only room in the entire game we never explored. But now that we've beaten the game, and maybe because we've gotten the best ending, I'm not entirely sure, we have this key in this kind of New Game Plus. So as soon as we load this save, we're back in the mansion, and this key is used just for this closet here. It's the only time we actually use it. And heading in here, there's one outfit that Chris can wear. So yeah, it's just basically an alternate costume for whichever character you're playing as. Pretty neat. Although it's purely cosmetic, so if you already got the best ending, there's not really any reason to go back and get this, except for, I guess, the novelty of it. If, say, you hadn't gotten the best ending, then hey, now's as good a time as any. But if we want to talk about real replay value, we have to talk about playing as Jill Valentine instead of Chris. Or I guess if you had played as Jill, playing as Chris instead. The different characters you play as actually have very different kind of routes in the game overall. So since we played through the whole thing as Chris, I wanted to give Jill a go for this extra part, and what exactly is Jill like? Well, Jill is better in every single way. It's not even funny. I mean, Jill has 8 inventory spots, meaning you can carry around much more stuff. She carries around a lockpick at all times, so you don't need small keys anymore to open desks. In fact, there aren't small keys at all. Plus, the lockpick also opens all the sword key doors, so you can get into certain areas much earlier than you otherwise would. She also gets access to a grenade launcher pretty early on, a weapon Chris never gets to use. Then again, with how limited his inventory was, there's no way he would be able to carry around this thing. I mean, you have 3 different ammo types for it, plus all your other items and weapons, so it is a little clunky, but it makes short work of hunters, which is really nice. All this stuff makes it sound like I really prefer Jill's playthrough, but actually, there's some things I don't like quite as much about it. Well, for one, at the start of the game, instead of Barry going missing, Chris goes missing, so instead Barry is now accompanying us through, well, most of the adventure. He helps us in a tight spot, he gives us items, he's really just around the whole time, kind of assisting you. And that's nice. I mean, Barry does have some amazing voice lines that I have to highlight here.
It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
There must be a back door somewhere. Let's try to find it first, shall we?
But I don't know, something about Barry always being around kind of takes away from the survival horror experience. It's not like he's following you around in every room, but it just feels like there's less tension overall. The larger inventory and the grenade launcher also may help with that. I guess it comes down to personal preference if you're looking for a more horrifying and surreal experience, or if you're looking for something that's just generally more fun to play. Personally, I'd recommend playing both, see which one you like more. Maybe start out with Chris, but if you reach some tough point where you don't have any ink ribbons or healing items and you're just kind of throwing yourself at a wall, then why not give Jill a try? They're both fun playthroughs with their own merits and weaknesses. One last thing to talk about in this extra part is the director's cut. You see, Capcom knew they wanted to make Resident Evil 2, and they wanted to make it right. And, well, Resident Evil 2 was having some development problems. I'll get into that in a separate video at some point when I talk about that game. And as such, they wanted to hold fans over with a new version of the first Resident Evil that changed things up here and there. And there are a few interesting differences here and there. There's the arrange mode, which kind of randomizes things. But the main reason I don't love the director's cut is the updated soundtrack. Now, don't get me wrong, some of the tracks, not bad at all. But boy, a lot of these just don't work for me. I mean, remember the basement theme, the most horrifying of any track in the original game? This is the basement theme in the director's cut. And then there's the sewer theme, which is probably just as bad in my opinion. And that's not to completely discourage the director's cut or anyone who prefers it. I mean, after all, it does add DualShock support, meaning you can use the analog sticks. But then again, I don't know, the D-pads always work better for Resident Evil's tank controls, for me anyway. Let me know what you think of the director's cut in the comments, and let me know whether you prefer Jill or Chris's playthrough. Otherwise, that's about it for this series. I 100% want to get to Resident Evil 2 sometime early next year, but in the meantime, we're just wrapping up Mother, and there also is an extra part of Mario 64 I gotta get around to at some point. I hope you all enjoyed this series yet again. I had a lot of fun making it. But that all being said, have yourself a very good day. Goodbye now.